What we are left with it is very simple things. Why I'm saying very simple things? Because in that we we just have to understand how exactly all those things work. So that would not should not take much time. So we will go back into our same report. So what was that report?
It's VD1. Yes.
Yeah, advanced. See this? This is all what prompts. So I'll go ahead and click on OK, and I'll try to edit it. Why I'll try to edit? Because now I'm going to remove the prompts because I don't need them. I have understood it. So the first prompt, I'll remove it from here, age. So prompts we have understood, guys. And the two things which is very easy, we'll try to see if we can do it. So output. So when I run the report as of now, I'll go ahead and click on OK and run the report. So what do you think? How is the report output coming right now? Oh, prompts are not removed. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll just add one female and then click on OK. So how is this report coming in front of us right now?
Tabular format.
Tabular format, right? It's a table. But Workday gives you an opportunity that you can actually go ahead and use table or any other format also. Now, when I say any other format, what does that mean? So you can generate charts, graphs, all those things you can do. Ideally, it's very rare that you would see in Workday that people are using it. But first, let me remove this filter and prompts. Okay, right. Now I'll go to output. Now see what happens is when you talk about output, the output that we are seeing currently is stable, right? It's in a tabular format. But if you want, you can change the output. How? So you can go into chart and table and gauge. Now I'm sure that everybody must be knowing what is chart, what is table, what is gauge. Is there anybody who does not know? Yes, no, please tell me.
Gauge, I don't know about gauge.
Okay, gauge you don't know. Have you heard about funnel? No?
No, no.
Okay. So basically these are all the ways to represent the things. When you go ahead and put it, so I'll show you. You know, you want a speedometer, something like that, so that you're able to measure. Okay. That is how exactly it looks like. So it says metered value. Okay, what do you want to do is a metered value. Maybe I'll say age. Although, our report is not in that way that it can be put in a gauge format. So all these things are basically used when you use dashboard. Okay. So 90% of the time, 95 to 99% of the time, we have tabular format. Okay. We have tabular format, and that's the reason we hardly use anything in this. I mean, does that make sense? I hope it is, helping you to understand what I'm trying to say. So the chart and everything we rarely use. But what I would suggest is you go ahead, uh, you know, you can go ahead and try doing it by yourself. In case you have questions, you always ask me. But to be honest, I have rarely used it because none of my customers have asked me to go ahead and say that, okay, can you build a gauge for me? Can you build a something like that? Because they would say, give me the report. That's the first thing. Once the report is built, right? Then if they need any of this, then they will say, can you build a dashboard for me? Dashboard building is something else, which is not the part of our curriculum. But yeah, there you will have all these systems where you will use the report and get the things done. But not in this place. You will hardly see anybody asking you for that. But yeah, if there is somebody who's asking you, you can easily do it. You can just change it to, table and chart. And what will happen in that case, guys? See, when I use chart and table, right, you have to put the chart options. So what is this? Chart is donut, right? Then if you want to change it, you can. Column clustered, stack, bar. So all these things I'm sure you would have used. So for us, it is not helpful because we have to have our report in that way. You see, the legend is there. We don't have anything where I can actually put any legend, right? So that's the reason I have to put that data in such a way that it can be into x-axis or y-axis. Do you know what is x-axis, y-axis of graph? I'm sure everybody would know that. X-axis and y-axis in a graph,
Yeah.
right? So we have to make sure that the data we are putting in a table, it should be in that format. Then only we can actually develop a chart. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. So here we don't have anything as such. We have first name, last name, gender. That is all we have. And the job profile and dependent. So there is nothing numerical about it. When you have to do a display something on the chart, it has to have a numerical part associated with that. So for example, I'm grouping that within one range, let's say 18 to 25, how many employees are there? 26 to 30, how many employees are there? 31 to 35 or 31 to 40, how many employees are there? So this group, when you create, it becomes more like a chart, right? And that you can represent in the chart. So all this kind of things you have to build. And as I stated, you will hardly get this kind of requirement in Workday. All right. So you try it. In case you have any questions, always reach out. I'll try to see what I can do to help you with that. Okay. But the most important part here is share. Okay. Now, why I'm saying that this is the one of the important parts, share, because it is regarding the security of your report. Okay. So what is there in the security of my report here? So when I go ahead and do this report definition sharing, when I will do it, or sorry, when I'll build any report, I will be the owner of it. Okay. When I will build any report, I will be the owner of it. Now, when I am the owner of it, I would not like to share this report with anybody, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this will not be shared with anybody. But suppose I want to share and I want to share it so that other people can also look into it and make some changes as required. So there are two options to share. First is share with all authorized user. Now, who is an authorized user?
Whoever access to the tenant.
Exactly. So whoever has access to the tenant or whoever is able to access Workday, they are all authorized user. Now, if I am going to share with all authorized user, which means this report is no longer a private report, it is becoming a public report. Anybody can look into it and can make the changes, right? So that sort of report is basically called as public report. And in that scenario, when you use share option, you will get this option which says share with all authorized user. So this is generally not advised. Now, if I want to share it with specific people and groups, so what happens when you when you build reports, right? So there are report groups that you can actually go ahead and share with them. And with that group, you will have specific people. So here you see, these are the groups that is already there in the system. Now, if you want to use it, you want to share it with anybody, you can. If you don't want to, you can just ignore it. You want to share it with specific people. Let's say I am the owner, like I'm logged in as Carol Lee. So I'm going to share it with Logan. So I'll go ahead and share it with Logan. So if I go ahead and do that, so this report can be executed, can be edited by Logan and by Carol Lee, as I have created it with the user Carol. I hope it is clear. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Can we please go back there
Where?
to the share option,
Yes, tell me.
right? So I was clear on all authorized users. Okay. I want to know a little bit more about like sharing with specific. Yeah. No, not there. Scroll down, please.
Yeah, I got it. What is your doubt? I mean, I'm just trying to
So,
edit it.
okay. So in your project, right, there'll be a business analyst, project managers,
Mm-hmm.
or financial business side users. So how do we categorize? Because, for example, if there are like 20 people, right, you'll not individually give access to each of them.
Yes, that's the
Rather,
reason we have these groups, right? Authorized groups.
yes. Can you
So,
please?
yeah. So what happens in this, when you create a report and you want to share it with a lot of people, so
Okay.
what happens? You get two things. One is your security group, and another is called as, you see this, create segment based security group and Prism Access security group. So Prism Access security group is used in Prism. I'm not sure how many of you know, but Prism is the analytical platform of Workday. Are you aware about it? Anybody?
Heard about it.
Yes. So Prism is the analytical platform of Workday. Now, if you know about security in Workday, right? So whenever we talk about security, there is a security group concept. Anybody
ISS.
knows
Is it ISSG?
Yes,
ISS?
role-based, user-based.
Yes, role based, user based, right? So that is where your security groups come into picture. Now, for specific report, when you want to create, you have to create the security group, because in Workday, the security is provided only through the security groups. So if you have gone through core connectors, or sorry, not connectors, but core HCM, you must have studied about user-based security group, role-based security group, right? And when you go into the advanced reporting, there is an option called create segment-based security group. So when you actually go ahead and do that, right, create segment-based security group. So it will ask you for the security group which is there already in the system, which is either your role-based or your user-based security group. That you need to provide. I'm not sure. Are you all aware about the role-based security group, or no? You're not.
Little bit. That's where we wanted more information on this.
That is a part of core HCM. So I'm not sure if you have gone through that, but yeah, let me tell you. I'll give you a brief idea. I cannot actually configure
Sure.
everything here, but yeah, I'll definitely tell you. See, there is a very different rule of security in Workday. How exactly it works is the permissions are not at all given straight away to a user. In other systems, you might have seen the permissions are directly given to a user. You're on or on their profile, right? If you have to give any permissions, how do you give? You will give the permissions on the profile, and whoever is getting that profile, they are able to get the same kind of permissions, right?
Right.
But in Workday, it is different. So where do we give the permissions? We give the permissions to a security group.
Okay.
Okay. Then based on the security group, what kind of security group is that? There are multiple types of security groups in Workday, but primarily there are two, which is user based and role based. Now suppose it is a role based security group. So
Okay.
as a HR, I I am creating a security group for HR analysts or HR executive.
Okay.
So somebody who is going to join an organization with the role of HR executive, right? Let's say there are 5, 10 HR executives who are helping us to complete the day-to-day activities of HR. Now, instead of giving each and every person the the permissions on their profile, we give the permissions on the security group. And what we do is we assign that role to that security group. So once you assign the role to the security group, there is a concept of inheritance. The role inherits the permission from the security group. So whatever the permissions you have given to the security group, it is inherited by the role.
Okay.
Now, when someone joins the organization, you assign that role to that person. So if I have, I'm joining as HR executive, so I will get that role of HR executive. So once I've got the role of HR executive, I indirectly become the member of that security group.
Okay.
Okay. So what will happen now? Whatever permissions you have given to the security group, all those permissions I have automatically got it. So
Okay.
anybody with that HR executive role will have the same permission as I have, as I'm also the member of it. So in this way, what happens is you don't have to do any troubleshooting for a particular user. What happens is you give the role to a person, that person automatically has the same permission what the security group has. So it actually helps a lot when making the security simple. So that's the reason here you see it says create segment based security, right? Segment based security basically is dependent upon your role based or user based security group. So why it is telling you, because it needs a security group here. Okay. The security group is already, which means a role based or user based security group will already be there, right? See, all security group or all security groups. So if I just go into this, yeah, there are multiple security groups you see there.
Right. So
Aggregation, compensation, right?
I'm more interested in about like what I was saying, right? ISSG, which is integrated. Can you scroll up a little bit?
This is the
So
one you're talking about, right?
exactly
Integrated system security group. Now that is
integration.
completely only for integration. That is
Exactly.
not at all related for reports.
Um, so that's where I'm like, wanted to know, like, do you know about the integration system user, Devashish?
Yeah, we will study about this when we go into integration, not right now.
Hello.
Oh, so that will be a separate topic because that's where I was.
Yeah, not separate topic, but integration requires you to understand how security group functions. So that we
Right.
will definitely discuss. So
Okay.
that's how exactly it works. Okay, so guys, this is why the security of report is also very important. That with whom you are sharing and why are you sharing. So that becomes very important. Because when you share the report, right, they will have the power to make the changes. There is one more thing that comes here. Now, what is that one more thing? The one more thing is it would say that complete the transfer or transfer the ownership. Okay, complete transfer of the ownership. If it's complete transfer of the ownership, then whoever has created this report, suppose I have created it, but let's say I am transferring it to Logan. So I will lose the complete control. I will not even be able to share, search that report also. So that is also a part of your security. So let me just cancel this for the moment, and or I'll just go ahead and click on OK. I'll share it with Logan. That's not a problem. So what I'll do is I'll now show you one more important part. So what is that? You see this option which says transfer ownership. So when you go ahead and click on it, it will tell you who is going to be the new owner. So this is my report name and who is going to be the new owner. So I have created it, but let's say if I am sharing it with Logan or Steve or anybody, because in real time you will have multiple users, so you can share it with anybody. So I will lose the access.
So one question is, when you give the new owner, right, it is one of the user in the system, like an authorized user.
Yes.
And once you do that, right, will there be any approvals that will go through in the system level that we need to approve to make it?
No, not really. Not really. Because this is not a business process. Okay.
Okay. Thing
So
is,
whenever there is a business process associated with that, yes, then in that case you will see approval getting triggered.
Not approval, I would say, like, are there any bunch of action items or tasks that get triggered that we need to go into one of the action item and select them and, like, okay, or do something like that?
No, if you just try to put a name here, that is enough. So for example, I'll go ahead and put Logan, right? That is enough for me. There's nothing that will trigger.
And you now lost complete access on that, right?
Yes, I will not even be able to search it. So if you will try, asking me to do it, see, it gives me an error. The task submitted is not authorized, right? So I have lost the access completely. I don't have anything. So if I just search it once again, it will not give me anything.
Unless you're a user of it. Okay.
See, nothing. So how I can go ahead and do it? I'll say start proxy. I don't know if you have used it, but I'm just trying to explain it to you. So this is a way by which I can actually log in at that user. So I'll log in as Logan and click on OK.
Yeah.
And then I will try to search for this report. Okay, so it's on behalf of this particular user. So I've got this report now, right? This is the report that we had. I'll click on OK. Okay, and now I can go ahead and click on actions. Transfer the ownership again.
Okay.
So now I will go back and I will stop the proxy and I'll be back as the original user, right? So once I have the original user, I will be able to use that report now because I have got the access back.